Morning, everybody. Give me a bit of a thumbs up in the chat if the sound is coming through. Looks like it is, so we're all good there. Hey, good morning, Alison. As always, good to see you, mate. Simon, Pratesh, James, Laura, good morning to you guys. Hope you're all awesome and well. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat today. Thankful Thursday. Thankful Thursday. Good to see a bunch of you guys jumping on. I'll do the little warm-up intros. Jason Witten's my name. If you're new, most of you I can see on the screen right now do know already a few things about what we do each morning, around about 8-10 each day. A Wealth Coffee Chat, talk about real estate investing. The idea, we've got a couple of sayings, folks, around here if you're new. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. Going the distance takes time, takes effort, takes focus, takes a bit of patience. But I can, with a high level of certainty, say to you, the longer you own a good piece of real estate, the better off you'll be. I can say that. And I've been researching this for over 25 years, talking, coaching, and looking at thousands, tens of thousands of people's property portfolios. And along the way, myself and Sam Saggers have paid attention, who is my partner in business. And we've got a few things that we reckon work and a few things that don't work when it comes to building a residential property portfolio. So each morning, I get my caffeine on, smash a couple of coffees and have a chat with you guys, get the day started. So thanks for floating by. Thanks for joining wherever you are. If you're new, give us a shout out in the chat. Tell us where you're coming in from. Great to have you on today if that is the case, as we roll along. The other saying we say is buy well, never sell, because a good piece of real estate is meant to be owned and kept and create an income stream into the future for yourself. So there you go. There's the gist of it. Hopefully that makes sense. If buying and owning real estate for a long time is not your gig, not your thing, this is not the place for you. You should move on and find somewhere else, which is your place. Just saying. Anyway, good to see all of you guys here. We've got Chris, we've got Stephen, we've got a few others online now, which is awesome. Let's do the thing. Hey, listen, there is a concept called diversification, all right? And it's an interesting one. The idea in the world of finance and financial planning, the idea that, you should diversify across different assets and different this and that and all these other things. As an investor, so, you can be safer. And it's an interesting one. I've never believed that in my life because, and this is a famous quote. Thanks, Pratesh. Good shout out. The famous quote about the concept of diversification, folks, that, it's a protection against ignorance. It means, by and large, those who say those sorts of things don't know enough about one thing to be confident about investing in it. So they diversify across heaps that they don't know about in the hope that, they get a steady return of some way, shape or form. Warren Buffett, the most famous, probably one of the most successful investors ever in history, says it makes very little sense for those that know what they're doing to diversify out of an asset class or out of a type of investing that you know a lot about. And what we know a lot about, team, is property investing. And more specifically, residential property investing. So that's what we're going to have a chat about today. Because, and I've done this one a few times, I've done this conversation once or twice about the idea of diversifying out of residential and into commercial and industrial and other places. And for me, for most investors, that is inappropriate, unrequired for us as investors to do that. We don't have to diversify and have less borrowing power and more problems, et cetera, et cetera. We can get everything that we need out of residential property investing. And so for me, I've spent 25 years specializing in residential property investing in Australia. Okay, I just saw an article yesterday. Robert Kiyosaki, which I like his books, but he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to Australian real estate. Full of it, absolutely full of it. Having some comments about Australian real estate, and it makes the newspaper. Don't listen to that rubbish, because he doesn't even own a bloody piece of real estate in Australia. Absolute turkey when it comes to the newspapers taking someone who's got no experience in Australia and, publishing their stupid comments. Anyway, that's not what I was here today for. Rosalind, all the way from the sunny coast, good morning to you. Great to see you. Great to see you, sunshine. So diversify. How do we take the concept in residential real estate, team, and how do we create a portfolio that has some robustness, so it's not exposed to too much concentration risk with our wealth. All right. So there's three parts to the idea of we're staying in residential real estate in Australia. How do we minimize our risk of owning a significant property portfolio? There's three ways. So put it in the chat if you think you know what they are. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. An L, a P. What's that thing going around at the moment? Wordle. This is our Wordle. This is the morning Wordle. This is the coffee chat Wordle. See if you can fill the gaps in. Chuck it in the chat for me right now. What do you think? Number 1, number 2, number 3. Chris O's on it. Right, buying different states. Right, number 1, location. The location of your real estate, okay? And we're going to talk about that, yep. Boom, Laura, the different types, property types. Perfect, excellent, good work. Interest only, Alison, interesting, yeah, okay. Location, property type, and this is income profile. Income profile, okay? How do we diversify? And they're all sort of, woven in, but if we bust it open and have a look at, if we have different locations, different property types, and different income profiles when it comes to the properties we own, our ability to have less exposure to one piece of risk is minimized, which is good, which is smart, okay? And that's the idea. That's what we want to do. Chris O's on it. Different types of properties, apartments, townhouses, etc. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Hey, good morning, Danny. Good to see you, mate. So let's quickly talk about this. Let's go through these. You guys were talking about these in detail. So location. How do we diversify in location? You guys have seen this one before, where I draw a very terrible Australia. It looks like a tooth. And Chris O's talking about that right now. In location, we can go big, we can zoom out, and we can go, all right, well, let's buy one there and one there and one there and one there and one there. And we're diversified economically, politically, diversified economically, politically, government-wise, different market cycles. So different states have different... Thanks, Alison. I've been I've been practicing my Australia drawing, all right? And we've got, management of some land tax. Now, Queensland's being cheeky, very cheeky, and trying to bundle everyone's ownership across Australia and now calculate their land tax on that. It hasn't gone through yet, folks, but they're trying. So we have big picture. Zoom out zoom out as boom. And boom, whoever the Facebook user is, different proximities. So we're going to zoom in. We're going to zoom in. Right, so let's zoom in. And let's zoom into, I'll just do it. That's meant to be Queensland, by the way. That's terrible. Oh, I should have pre-drawn this, actually. There we go. All right, let me do this. We go there, we go up. Anyway, it's still terrible, but we've just pulled out Queensland. And so we're going, all right, this is rubbish. I'm going to redo this. All right, okay. Imagine that's Queensland. It's worse. I'm going to stop. Imagine that's Queensland. Imagine that's Queensland right now. Different proximities as we go. Like, so, okay, we're, a different state. Well, we're talking pretty well from the Gold Coast down here, Gold Coast, GC, all the way up really to Cairns, right? So, where is that, okay? And we've obviously got Brisbane, and we've got the Sunshine Coast, and you got Toowoomba. Probably this triangle here is the most powerful triangle in Queensland, right? So, but for me right now, for you guys, we got Brisbane. I'm going to go and do a drawing class. You did right, Pritesh. I was sitting down with my kids the other week and realised that my drawing capacity hasn't gone past my age of about 11, as you go. So we go from like big picture into state. What proximity are we looking for? All right, the proximity to the CBD or the city. Are we looking for the proximity of lifestyle maybe, which is beaches and whatever it might be? So this is this proximity conversation. And then we even get down further, which is now the proximity of profit. That model that I teach, if this is the CBD, and you're looking to be close to that, what is the distance when it comes to now hospitals, universities, places of work, transport, airports, etc., etc. So this is the location diversification, the 20-minute neighborhood, Chris O. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yep. And Sam does a lot on that stuff, which I know a bunch of you guys listen to his podcast as well. So, okay, we get a big picture, diversify in the state, and boom, into the location, okay? Yep, live, work, play, absolutely, which is a good one. So, location, diversification, okay? We had property type, team, over there, which was the other. So we had property type. And so, often this is very straightforward. 2 or 3 residential styles of real estate, all right? You can get a unit, / apartment. You can get a townhouse. And you can get a house. Okay, 3 styles. I'm a big fan of the 3 times 3 equals 9. It is the 3 times 3 times 3. What is it? 3 threes? Yeah, it is 9, isn't it? Having a mental blank this morning. So I like the idea, if you're thinking of a very rough conversation when it comes to property type. So you go, number A. You go 3 different states with 3 different property types. So in each state you get a unit, a townhouse, and a house, and then in each of those you have an income profile. You make sure you have access to all 3 income profiles. Income profiles in that space, okay? So, the property types. Unit, apartment, townhouse, house. Why would we sort of, buy a unit instead of a house? Well, there's plenty of conversations, heaps of those conversations. Chris, yeah, it wasn't times, you're dead right. It's plus. I'm having a shocker this morning, not being able to draw and not being able to add up. But anyway, hopefully you're still understanding what I'm trying to communicate today. So listen, a house right now, maybe a house is out of your budget range. Maybe a house is out of your budget range. Maybe the house is 700, but you've only got 600. Okay. Maybe you're trying to manage your land tax bill in the future, and you want a better location. You want to be right next to the beach, right? You want right next to the beach. Well, buy a good $600,000, $700,000 apartment, maybe. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. So property type diversification. Okay, and last but not least, we have the income profile. The income profile. So the income profile, yeah, absolutely, Alison. You can, like an apartment, we have lots, like so many people who go, when I downsize, I want a great apartment, no pets, no grass, like Alison's saying, and when I want to go on holiday, boop, lock it up, zero issues. Lock your apartment up and nothing doing, all right, as you go. As we go. So, yeah, and different strategies, absolutely, Chriso. Back in the different styles of property, you can do all sorts of interesting things in that sort of space. You're dead right. You're dead right. You can buy off the plan. You can do existing. You can renovate and add value. There's all sorts of, concepts when it comes to this stuff, all right, as we go. So there's a couple of different income profiles in here, okay? Now, the idea for all of us is we've got to keep this in mind. Number one, the simplest income profile is your regular weekly rent. Okay, so that makes sense, right? It's regular. It's the most regular income on the planet when it comes to an investment. Like seriously. Like, tell me, is there any more regular, more consistent, that's really bad English, but tell me, is there a investment that you can invest in that is more reliable than a residential piece of real estate for weekly income? Weekly rent, folks, team, amazing stuff, okay? As we go, the weekly income profile, okay? And every single property has that income profile, okay? Which is fine, okay? The second one is the short stay income profile, okay? Now the short stay stuff could be monthly, it could be 3 monthly, it could be 6 monthly, it could be Airbnb, 3 days at a time, okay? Now, the short stay income, the weekly rent income. Tell me, when we build our property portfolio and maybe thinking ahead into the future, maybe that nice house in the suburbs, which is great, and by and large the stats show that houses rise a little bit more, but not that much more in value than apartments. So you're looking for a bit of growth, which is fine. You do that with your property portfolio. But that house has a very limited income profile. It's just going to be weekly rent pretty well forever. Everyone cool with that? Okay, everyone cool for that? So in short stay, and it can be furnished, it can be unfurnished, it could be Airbnb, it could be all sorts of stuff, okay? So everyone's getting that short stay, yeah? As we go. And the other income profile, and who said it there before? Someone talked about NDIS. Chriso. So the income profile in this could be some sort of multi-tenant income profile. Okay, some sort of multi-tenant income profile. NDIS. Rent by room, turn it into a backpackers, a student accommodation, something like that. Some some multi-tenant version of the world, maybe a property has that ability. A multi-tenant version of the world, which kind of comes back to highest and best use, is if you buy a house and it's able to be subdivided and you put two houses on it. That's multi-tenanting, okay, on the thing that as you go, okay, which is cool. Okay, yeah, and Chris is saying, hey, he's getting into the aquaponics recently, so they can be self-sustaining, which is awesome. What fish are you growing, Chris? I love that aquaponic stuff where you put the fish underneath and you got all the veggies on top. Is that what you're up to? It's brilliant. So think of that, team. How do we income profile diversify? Weekly rent, can my properties do that? Short stay, can my properties do that? Maybe into the future, can I do multi-tenancy on my property, multi-income? Instead of one income I'm relying on, maybe two or three on the same piece of real estate, okay? So there you go. There you go, folks. Did that make sense? There we go. We're back at Warren. All right, there we go. Did that make sense? Rainbow trout, nice. Love it, mate. Hey, so hopefully that made sense today. Give us a shout out in the chat if it landed for you and made sense, because as we are building our property portfolio, there's a few things. And remember, these income profiles don't have to be today. They can be, you can buy the property today for using, you can upgrade, you can up, clear as mud. It was the pictures, wasn't it, Chris O? Those income profiles can be upgraded later. You buy a regular property today, but you know later on, potentially when you're ready, you can upgrade to short stay or something like that. All good, all good. Alison, I'm still kind of keen on buying a parking lot. Yeah, that could be okay. The challenge, Alison, with that stuff is the leverage that you get on it. It chews up a lot of your cash, Alison. And the value of that is connected to its rent only. So, which is called a cap rate, a capitalization rate when it comes to commercial real estate, which is not a bad one. We could do a little bit of that on Coffee Chat one morning. All right, folks, that's it. I'm just rambling on now. Hopefully you guys are awesome. Hopefully that was of use this morning, other than the bad drawings. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully it made sense. All right, that's it. You guys be good, be well. Join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat on Friday, around about 8:10. Until then, you guys take care. Bye for now.